Welcome to i-TUTOR Economics NCERT series. Today we are beginning with Class 10 Economics and the first chapter is Development. The idea of development or progress is not new. From the beginning, people have always wanted to improve their life. Everyone has some aspirations, what they want to do and how they want to live. In the same way, people also have ideas about how their countries should develop. For example, think about landless rural laborers. For them, development means getting more days of work, receiving better wages, having good quality education for their children in the local school, living in society without discrimination, and having equal chances to become leaders in the village. Now, let's take another example. A girl from a rich urban family. She may have a very different idea of development. For her, development means having the same freedom as her brother. She can take her own decision about life and education. She even has the opportunity to study abroad. So, see the difference. For landless rural laborers, development means more work and wages. But for a rich urban girl, development means freedom and higher education. This shows that different people have different goals of development. Now, do all people have the same idea of development or progress? Most likely not. Not everyone thinks of development in the same way. Each person has their own priorities. For example, a girl may expect the same freedom and opportunity as her brother. She also wants him to share the household work. But her brother may not like this. Let's take another example of industrialist. Industrialists may want to build big dams to get more electricity, but building dams can submerge large areas of land. This displaces many people like tribal communities. They may not want big dams. Instead, they may prefer small check dams or tanks to irrigate their fields. So, development for one group may actually cause problem for other. This is why development goals can sometimes conflict. So, two things are quite clear. First thing is, different persons can have different development goals. And second one is, what may be the development for one may not be development for the other. In fact, it may even destructive for the other. Now, income and other goals. Most people usually think of development as more income. Farmers want better wages and prices for their crops. Workers want regular jobs with good wages, etc. So yes, income is very important, but income is not everything. Think of it, money can buy you food, clothes, house, etc. But there are things money cannot buy, like respect, friendship, security, equality, freedom, and so on. For example, imagine you earn a high salary but live in fear of losing your job. Will you really feel developed? Probably not. So, we need non-material goals along with income. We should not think that only measurable things matter in development. We should not think like that. For example, before taking a job, you won't only check the salary. You will also ask, is the job atmosphere good? Are there facilities for family? Will I get chance to learn and grow? Okay, let's now imagine two jobs. Job 1 and job 2. Job 1, you have less pay but regular and secure work. Job B, you have high pay but no job security and no family time. Which one would give real development? Yes, most people will say job A, because security and freedom are also very important. Similarly, think about women. If women are respected in the family and society, then they are able to work outside, share responsibilities, and even start businesses. So the main point is, development goals are not only about income but also about dignity, security, respect, equality, and freedom. It's about respect, equality, security, dignity, and freedom. Hence, development goals that people have are not only about better income but also about other important things in life. Now, national development. Just like individuals have different goals, people also have different ideas about national development. For example, if you ask your classmates, you will likely to get different answers about what India should do for development. It's important to understand that not all ideas may be equally important, and sometimes these ideas may even conflict. When there is a conflict, we must ask what is fair and just for everyone. What is fair and just for everyone? Is there a better way of doing things? Will this idea benefit a large number of people or only a small group? And national development means thinking carefully about these questions and making decisions that benefits the country as a whole. Now, how to compare different countries or states? You might wonder, if development means different things to different people, how do we call some countries developed and others underdeveloped? To answer this, let's first think about how we compare things in general. When we compare, we look at similarities and differences. For example, in the classroom, students differ in height, health, talents, and interest. The healthy student may not be the most studious one. The most intelligent student may not be the friendliest. So, how do we compare students? The criteria we use depends on the purpose. For example, for choosing a sport team, we focus on physical ability. For choosing a debates team, we focus on communication skill. For choosing a music team, we focus on talent in music. For organizing a picnic, we focus on cooperation and teamwork. Similarly, if we want to compare overall progress of students in a class, we need to choose criteria that reflect all-round development. The same idea applies when we compare countries or states. We must decide which indicators of development to look at depending on the purpose of comparison. Okay. Now, usually we compare people or countries based on some important characteristics. For people, it could be friendliness, cooperation, creativity, or mark score. What is considered important can also differ. The same applies for development too. When comparing countries, income is often the key measure. The idea is simple. Higher income means people can afford more of what they need. So higher income countries are considered more developed. What is the income of a country? Do you know what is meant by this income of a country? Okay, it is the total income of all residents. It is the total income of all residents. For comparison between countries, total income is not very useful because countries have different populations. Instead, we use average income called per capita income. So, do you know the equation of per capita income? Per capita income is equal to total income of a country divided by total population. Per capita income is equal to total income of a country divided by total population. Okay. So, according to World Bank Report 2006, countries with per capita income of rupees 4,53,000 per year and above are called rich countries, and countries with per capita income of rupees 37,000 or less are called low income countries. India's per capita income in 2004 was 28,000. So it is classified as low income country. Now India is a developing country, and rich countries excluding some Middle East and small countries are generally called developed countries. Now let's look at the income and other criteria. People do not always value income. They also care about security, respect, equal treatment, freedom, etc. Similarly, when we assess a nation or state, we should look at other important factors besides average income. Let's look at an example of three states, Punjab, Kerala and Bihar. Per capita income of Punjab is 26,000 and Kerala 22,800 and Bihar 5,700. So based on per capita income means total income divided by total population. So based on per capita income, Punjab appears as the most developed and Bihar is the least developed state. Now let's look at some comparative data on Punjab, Kerala and Bihar. Before that, let's understand some terms: infant mortality rate, literacy rate and net attendance ratio. What is meant by infant mortality rate or IMR? It means number of children who died before the age of 1 per 1,000 live births. And what about literacy rate? Yes, percentage of adults above age of 7 who can read and write. Net attendance ratio means percentage of children aged 6 to 10 attending school. So what this table shows? Yes, in Kerala, about 11 out of 1000 children die before the first birthday, while in Punjab it is 49, nearly 5 times more. Yet Punjab has a higher per capita income than Kerala. This shows that higher income does not always mean better development. Think about the human impact. The pain of losing a child before their first birthday cannot be measured by money. Note that this data is from 2003, 56 years after independence, in a time when Indian states already had a high-rise buildings and shopping malls. Yet such disparities existed. Now, public facilities. You might wonder, why does the average person in Punjab earn more than Kerala, yet lags behind in crucial areas like health and education? The reason is that money alone cannot buy all essential goods and services. For example, money cannot buy a pollution-free environment or safe medicine or protection from infectious diseases unless the whole community and government provides preventive measures. Many important things in life are best and cheapest when provided collectively. For example, security. It is cheaper for a whole locality to have collective security rather than each house hiring a guard. And what about education? Yes, you can study not just because your parents want you to, but because other children also go to school and the government provides schools. Even today, in some areas, children, especially girls, cannot complete secondary education because schools and facilities are inadequate. Now, let's look at Kerala's success. Kerala has a low infant mortality rate due to adequate health and education facilities. And about public distribution system, it also works well in some states. If a shop does not function, people can get the problem rectified. As a result, health and nutrition outcomes are better in these states. Now, let's look at Human Development Report, HDR. Income is important, but it's not enough to measure development. It is very important, but it is not enough to measure development. We also need other key indicators, but the list should be small and focused. Health and education. Not the point, health and education. These indicators are used in comparing Kerala and Punjab, and they are among the most important ones. Over the past decades, income, health and education have become widely used together to measure development. The HDI or Human Development Report published by UNDP compares countries based on education levels of people, health status and per capita income. Always remember that Human Development Report is published by UNDP. Okay. Now let's look at some notes. HDI stands for Human Development Index. And life expectancy at birth is equal to average expected lifespan of a person at birth, and gross enrollment ratio means enrollment in primary, secondary and higher education. Per capita income is calculated in dollars for all countries, adjusted so that each dollar buys the same amount of goods or service everywhere. So the term human development emphasizes that what matters most in development is the well-being of people, that means their health, education and quality of life. Now, sustainability of development. Suppose a country is currently developed. We would want this level of development to increase or at least be maintained for the future generation. However, since the mid-20th century, scientists have warned that current patterns of development may not be sustainable. So, resources and sustainability. Renewable resources are replenished naturally like crops, plants and groundwaters. But even renewable resources can be overused. For example, if we extract more groundwater than is replenished by rain, it will run out. About non-renewable resources, they cannot be replenished after use like fossil fuels and minerals. We may discover new resources, but eventually they will be exhausted. So why sustainability matters? Yes, environmental degradation affects everyone. It does not respect borders. Our future is linked together. So sustainable development is a global concern. Scientists, economists, philosophers, and social scientists are now working together to understand sustainable development. Development is a continuous debate. As a member of society and individuals, we need to ask, where do we want to go? What do we wish to become? And what should our goals be? So this debate ensures that development meets the need of the present without compromising the future. Look at this box. We have not inherited the world from forefathers. We have borrowed it from our children. So consequences of environmental degradation do not respect national or state boundaries. This issue is no longer regional or nation specific. Our future is linked to it. Sustainability of development is comparatively a new area of knowledge in which scientists, economists, philosophers, and other social scientists are working together. In general, the question of development or progress is perennial. At all times, as a member of society and as individuals, we need to ask where we want to go, what we wish to become, and what our goals are. So the debate on development continues. So that's all about this chapter. Thanks for watching. For more related contents, do like, share and subscribe.